That's where I get confused. And I always like to say, and I was gonna say it now so I can get over this on the internet. If you're not saying you come from the niggers, this is not for you. And no.
No,
And this
I'm
is
sorry.
no.
Go
Because
ahead. What do you think?
people argue about with the ER or the A, and this
Yeah.
is the conversation that people don't want to have. Y'all know what we're talking about. Okay, you come from the people who got called with the hard ER. If you do not come from them, we're not talking about you when we generally say Black African American. Obviously, Black is, I mean, I know a few people I know are actually Black in skin tone. What are we talking about? And now let's be clear: people in India, Middle Easterns, you call them brown now. They brown has now been taken from them. They can be called what they want, but like, it's just so much when it comes to who Kamala is as a person, as far as what we see versus, as you brought up, versus who we see as Trump as a person, and then versus the policies that Trump wants to enact or enacted when he was in office. Kamala technically has never been president, so she can't take the full blame
Right.
of stuff because she wasn't president yet. But what she says she wants to act. I mean, let's be very clear. She was against Biden and a lot of stuff 4 years ago, and then she becomes his vice president. But if you look at a lot of policies that she wanted or things she was for, it wasn't that. And then with President Biden saying that she was the border czar, the person in charge of the border, I mean, the illegal immigrant number is out the wazoo here. It's in the tens of millions. I think the lowest number you'll see is 15 million. I mean, that's a problem because we talk about people here, again, getting to Project 2025, we're getting the taxes and things like that. These immigrants are getting funded with our tax money. I mean, I don't know. Maybe y'all don't pay taxes. That's the issue. Jordan and I pay taxes. Yes. So for those of us who pay taxes, I mean, when you say you want your property taxes lowered and things like that, well, if your state is taking care of all these illegal immigrants, where do you think this money's coming from? It's coming from somewhere that you're paying. The government pays for stuff with taxes, unless you're California with the gas tax. But the government pays for stuff with taxes. All right, that's the type of stuff people have to look at. But anyways, once we get into the second paragraph, overseen by this is overseen by the Conservative Heritage Fund Foundation. Multi-prolonged initiative includes it's a blueprint, right, for the next Republican president. In short, is what Project 2025 is. Now, this isn't the president's blueprint or President Trump's blueprint, but it's like, in short, a recommendation. All right, so it's not his. Trump has his own thing. President Trump has his own thing, but it's a recommendation. But it's far right. If you're in the political stuff. So Trump in his campaign has worked to distance themselves from Project 2025. With former president going so far as to call some of the proposals abysmal, but Democrats have continued to tie the transition project to Trump, warning that its policy proposals are what Americans can expect if they elect the former president in November. Now let's see, and I don't know if you've seen some of the videos. My timeline might be a little more conservative than you, but they've been like reading, like they've been like the trolls. So people are conservative, but they're being a troll about it. It'd be like, yeah, this sucks, and they say like, if they make it so taxes aren't as high. And stuff like that. Now, obviously, when you read more in depth to the policy, because that's how stuff ends up getting passed, that's people have issues. But for the surface stuff, when you read some of these things where it's like decrease illegal immigration, right? Our conversation should be what is the definition of illegal immigration, not if illegal immigration should be low, right? The argument is that the people should be able to come here illegally. No, what? Now, if you disagree with the definition of it is, that's what you should say. All right. So what's Project 2025? Proposed presidential transition project, composed of 4 pillars: a policy guide for the next presidential administration, a LinkedIn-style database. Jordan knows about this. I mean, Jordan doesn't know about it. Jordan is not.
I did not make this database. Hold on, look. Come on, Corey.
A LinkedIn-style. Hey, you said I was a felon. Anyway, a LinkedIn-style database. Yeah, of personnel who could serve in the next administration. Training for that pool of candidates dubbed the Presidential Administration Academy, and a playbook of actions to be taken within the first 180 days in office. So when you look in this, like on this, if you just look at these 4 pillars, right, it's like, okay, obviously, every president has a policy, right? So that's redundant, right? I would hope you're not running for president with no policy. Where it says a LinkedIn-style database, that's just, a hit word, LinkedIn. But, a database of personnel who could serve in the next administration. That'd be great to have a pool of people you can pull from, right? And then training for those people. Well, that sounds good. Right. And then obviously stuff you want to do in the first 180 days, which for whatever reason is a big deal for president. Now, that's just, when you read the first 4 things, right? It's like, okay, cool. But when you get into the fine print, that's when people start. I don't know how much fine print we're going to have, but that's when people start having an issue. So it's led by 2 former Trump. Okay. So like I was saying, 2 former Trump administration officials. So it's led by them. They weren't in his cabinet, but they're officials. Paul Dans, who was the chief of staff. Okay. So chief of staff is a very high position of personal management and serves as director of the project. And then Spencer Chatterton, former special assistant
Chrétien?
Chris Gretchen, bruh. The names of the people who write these articles be giving me hell. Like I used to have like maybe like 10, 20 straight episodes. Like I could like I don't know, y'all. And I like to pronounce people's names correctly, but obviously I don't know how to do it. But so Spencer was former special assistant to Trump, and now the Project 2025's associate director. So in short, the director and associate director for Project 2025 were President Trump's assistants when he was president. Dan's announced on July 30th that he would be stepping down from his role as head of Project 2025 and departing Heritage in August. So this is something to think like, okay, is he going to be, going back to being an assistant for President Trump if he wins the election? Type of thing here. Project 2025 is spearheaded by the Heritage Foundation, okay, advisory board, more than 100 conservative groups, okay, just showing the makeup of people who work on this policy. A lot of the focus and criticism of Project 2025 involves its first pillar, the nearly 900-page policy book that lays out an overall of the federal government called Mandate for Leadership 2025, the Conservative Promise. The book builds a mandate for leadership first published in January 1981. So that's how long and short, this goes back to 1981, over 40 years now. Okay, so we're going on over 43 years, which sought to serve as a roadmap for Ronald Reagan's incoming administration. Shout out to President Reagan. All right, so I would say President Trump has a chance to do what President Reagan, President Nixon did, which is win 49 states. Depending on how Kamala pulls this stuff together. When they have that debate, boy, she better be Michael Jordan. She cannot miss.
Yeah.
She cannot miss. Well, she needs to be whatever the guy's name, American Sniper. She cannot afford to miss. Anyways, the recommendations outline the spiraling plan, reach every corner of the executive branch from the executive office, the president, Homeland Security, to little known export import bank. Yeah, I believe they want to get rid of the Department of Education.
They do.
But... yeah. All right, we can talk about that. So the Department of Education, if they were to get rid of that, what does that mean? How would you feel about that?
I'm gonna be honest. I mean, it depends. So does that dismantle what was too? Because if that getting rid of, it's getting real out. Sorry for that. If y'all get that feedback,
no, we can't hear.
Okay, sorry. This is a thunderstorm extremely close to my house. So if I pause a little bit, that's what's going on. It's getting, what I'm saying. Anyways, does eliminating the Department of Education eliminate my student loans? That's what I have to ask. Because they are
no.
Okay.
The last thing the conservatives are going to do, especially far right conservatives, are going to let you get your student loans forgiven.
Had to ask.
Nah, then you'd be forward. Yeah, get them up out of here.
Right, they can go. Get them. I don't know. I guess I gotta. What exactly? So the Department of Education. What exactly? If elimination of that, what does that remove? What are we?
Well, the big thing about the Department of Education, right? I mean, again, federal government versus state government. I feel like not you, but so many people just didn't pay attention in class, which I know they didn't because I was in class with y'all, and I know at least my people on my Facebook. I know how smart y'all were growing up, and I know y'all didn't go to college and get this information because you didn't go to college and get information. Okay, so the federal government in its genesis, right, when the country started, they're not really supposed to be telling us what to do on a state and local level. That's what the state and local government are for. That's why your midterm elections are more important when you elect your governor and your county or city state officials. Okay, that's why it's more important. The federal government is the main thing, commander in chief. So from a military standpoint, and to make sure in general our economy is not messed up, and they give us some type of global presence. We're the United States of America, so we're supposed to have, we are now the big bad, bad guys out here. We're supposed to have a very big global presence. But as far as Department of Education, you're still going to have it down to at the state level. But put it like this: you got a high school diploma, right, from Harford County. Mm-hmm. To get that diploma is different from what I got in Anne Arundel County. We're in the same state,
gotcha,
right? But you have a board of education for Harford County, wherever it's at, and they determine how you get your degree. Right. And then, for my county, they determine how we get our degree. Like that's just how it works. And when you actually look at, your degree, well, yours might not say it, but a lot of times when you look at the school and things like that, it comes down to that low level. Like why and how could the federal government, who's in charge of 50 states plus DC, and then, you got Puerto Rico, things like that, the territories, from an education standpoint, even be able to, make sure that, now our citizens, our youth are not being educated properly. Right? You can make the conversation where, you see the meme with George Bush where it says it's no child left behind, but they chop off the no and it just says child left behind. Right. And again, black people, black boys can't even read. I think it used to be a fourth grade. I believe now it's 8th grade reading level. But like the amount of people who are literally illiterate, like if you don't have a reading comprehension, and math skill level at a 12th grade level, and you're 18, 19 years old, you're illiterate. Like people cannot read, right? At the level they should be able to read. People cannot do math, basic math. I'm not talking about calculus,
Gotcha.
right? On an everyday basis. But
Basic
people,
algebra.
basic algebra, even lower than that. Shout out to y'all budgets. We're not talking about finances like that, but y'all can't do addition and subtraction. Y'all can't do. I make 100,000, so if I spend 120,000, I'm a be negative 20,000, and then you're gonna be upset that you negative 20,000. Like it's just simple math. So if they were to get rid of it, and I haven't looked into this, and it's not going to get into them getting rid of the Department of Education. Let's see if it's in here.
Yeah, I'm looking at what they
No, it's
do
not.
overall. They got kind of like a highlight of
Yeah.
there's an article that goes over the highlight of kind of like what the Department of Education is responsible for.
Mhm.
It's basically saying like promotion to elaborate on what you were referring to. Kind of like the promotion of federal education programs. So like you said, no child left behind. Processing of like federal grants, so things that determine who qualifies for what in terms of assistance to go to secondary education. Supplement and complement the efforts of states, the local school systems, and other instrumentalities of the states, the private sector, public and private educational institutions, public and private nonprofit educational research institutions, community-based organization, parents, and students to improve the quality of education.
Yeah.
So yeah, like you said, just
Yeah.
basically
But
making programs to make sure people get through. But it sounds like, so based off of what you said, they ain't doing it efficiently.
Well, I mean, have you looked at America's education compared to other countries? Remember, we got the highest GDP. So in theory, we got. Well, I mean, shout out to our debt, but we got the highest GDP. All right, so we bringing in the biggest bag. We got everybody on the whole planet. California, Texas, Florida, and New York, I believe, are all maybe top 25, top 30. They all have a GDP of over $1 trillion. Okay, there's some countries only have a GDP over $1 trillion. We got 4 states who bring in over $1 trillion. So it's not like we don't generate quote unquote money here, right? Obviously, using the money is a whole different issue. But
Right.
I mean, when we talk about our education system, which would be one of the most important things, and not the most important thing, because it's our future, right? It's our pipeline to run things. I mean, we're terribly, terribly behind. And I'm just going to switch the tab real quick here.
Got you.
I'll zoom in stuff because I didn't think it would. It says it right in the second sentence. So, all right. So this is Project 2025 here. I guess Lindsay M. Burke wrote this. But again, federal education policy should be limited, and ultimately, the federal Department of Education should be eliminated. All right, this is the first sentence. They're not playing. They straight, as Jordan said, Trump was straight. They straight to the point. All right, when power is exercised, it should empower students and families, not government. All right, our pluralistic society. Okay. So in short, they're saying, what the Department of Education should be doing, they're not doing. And again, you can't get mad when conservatives say conservative things, right? Conservatives are pro smaller government, right? They don't like a big government. And in short, having all these various departments that they believe they don't need, because they believe in the Department of Defense, right? They believe they don't need. It's not there. But remember, there's no Department of Defense at the state level. I mean, you have the National Guard, but the military is a federal thing, right? It's not a state thing, quote unquote. Education's at the state level. Okay, so we're in Maryland, so DC isn't a far away thing for us. Like it's kind of all the same thing for us. We don't like view it as like the federal government because it's like our lives. But if I'm over here in like Nevada, how is someone in DC gonna really understand, what we have going on here? And remember, the Department of Education, this is a bureaucracy. This is not people we vote into office. Right. We vote the president in, and then the president picks this person. And so that's the other thing too. When you have to look at like this person making a decision who you didn't even vote for, versus again, you go down to your county level and you can go and talk to these people. You can talk to your county executive, which is in short like the president of your county or the mayor or whatever it is and you can go talk to these people. You don't. The Department of Education, Secretary of Department of Education, don't have time to talk to you.
That's true.
I'm telling you the truth. And so when it comes to, you're in the situation now, right? We each have a child now. It's like, yo, y'all got to fix this stuff. You know what I mean? Like it kind of gets serious out here when you're able to relate to this stuff more.